so much for checking this video out, clicking on over. If you're watching this live, I really appreciate it. That's awesome. And if you're watching this on a rebroadcast, I'm gonna upload it to YouTube and Rumble and things like that, so you can check it out there if you happen to have missed this live. The reason I'm doing this on a live stream is like, man, like, I think every day we wake up, people who are now following real news, we're getting all our news online, and it's like been completely overwhelming since all this has started, for me at least. Like every day there's something there's something to report, something going on. Nobody has time to kind of do it all because there's just so much happening. I mean, that really is the job of the news. That's why they're there. That's why they have a team, and they have networks, and they have affiliate stations, and they have connections, and they're supposed to be looking in and digging in and bringing you news. And that's just not happening. And I don't think that I could really even go any longer without addressing all of what happened last week with the wildfires. So it's Monday, June 12th, as I'm taping this. And so I'm going to do a little bit of a Monday mashup. Like, there's always so much stuff going on that I just want to talk about a few things that have been on my mind. Some of this stuff might be old. You might have heard it before. But I'm just going to say it because I feel like I have to get this stuff off my chest. So welcome to this Monday night mashup. Thank you so much for watching this. So Canada is burning, okay? Canada is not only burning, but it's burning all at the same time, right? All at the same time. I mean, like, I talked about this kind of thing before in my testimony when I gave that NCI testimony, that like the day that I was working on Global National and everything was happening all at once, every single institution just fell into lockstep with these ridiculous measures and everything that was going on. It just seemed improbable. Like, life doesn't move like that. I mean, people, you got to work things out for yourself. Sometimes you got to ease into things. Sometimes you have to see how the cookie's going to crumble. You have to, like, go with the flow a little bit. You don't just like drop everything and go lockstep. So when I see that something happens all at once, like everywhere, it makes my spidey senses really stand up. And so that's what happened with these fires, like coast to coast in every province, fires all at the same time. What the heck, right? And I think a lot of people have seen this now. I'm going to play a little clip for you because if you haven't seen it, it is worth watching. But this thing has got many, many views. I'm going to play a video from my friend who put this video together, James Lowen. He has a channel on BitChute called Bonobo 3D. He's a wonderful cameraman, and he's been documenting everything going on in the pandemic. So I just love his work. I can't say enough good things about his work. But before I get to that, I want to show you a little clip of the Nova Scotia Premier. This is from May 30th, and he's pleading to people. So he's talking about what needs to be done.
So no burning. For God's sake, stop burning. Stop flicking your cigarette butts out your car window. Just stop it. Our resources are stretched incredibly thin right now fighting existing fires. We have to protect our resources where that's possible. And we're going to take whatever steps we can do to protect our resources. That's why, effective at 4 p.m. today, all travel and activity within Nova Scotia's woods is banned. Travel and activity in our woods is banned. We're going to stop the travel. We have to do what we can.
Yeah. So he's telling you, don't go anywhere. You ain't allowed to go all up in there now. He's like restricting your movement. So can you recall another time when your movement has been restricted? It's almost like, and to say, so you're restricting your movement, do not go up all out into the bush. Okay, fine. But are you really expecting people to believe that people are flicking cigarette butts out and that's how these fires are starting, from a cigarette butt like that? It's going to start like a colossal friggin' inferno? I don't think so. It just doesn't work like that. It just seems so improbable to me. I'm not a firefighter, but that you'd flick a cigarette butt out and like an inferno would start, like all of a sudden, like Backdraft, that movie Backdraft, like Dustin Hoffman's going to run around or something. Tom Cruise is going to run in. Speaking of movies, life these days is like a movie. So anything that you think sounds ridiculous, like that could be a plot from a movie, is probably true. So he's telling you, he's restricting your movement. So that's very, very dangerous. They start to tell you where you can and can't go. Remember, we've been down this road before. We've been attacked before. We've been told what to do before. But now it's like, if it was a virus before, well, now today it's fire. It's going to be always something, right? So the people who are sleeping, there's not too many of you left, but I do know a couple of you. Like, think about it. Think about anything that happens systematically and anything that is limiting rather your movement and forcing you into a circumstance, right? I don't think this is how major infernos start. And so that's why I really appreciated some of the video that I saw from last week.
See that? That's a forest fire passing by to the south of the homestead here. It's burning down in that direction somewhere, southwest. That's where it's burning. Suddenly came up in a giant plume today, just for no apparent reason whatsoever. Suddenly there was a giant plume of smoke. That's not how fires start, eh? Like, if someone throws a cigarette, there'll be a little fire and then you'll see the smoke and then smoke will rise and people will go and look. A giant plume, like a mushroom cloud. Like someone set off a nuke. That's what it looked like. It was that big. I mean, people are lighting fires, folks. Canada is burning because someone is deliberately lighting fires, and that's a fact. It poured rain in Eastern Canada this spring. As a farmer, I watch the weather. So it poured rain in Eastern Canada all spring. Now suddenly it's burning down. Complete nonsense. And the media always says, whoa, well, it's human error. It's just human error. It's human error, all right. You could attribute some of these things to human error. But somebody's lighting these fires. It's either ideologists who think they can, change the world by getting rid of things they don't like, for instance, the oil patch. Yeah, they want us all in 15-minute cities, so burn down the oil patch. They tried to burn down Fort McMurray. That didn't work. It's time for people to wake up and realize that this land belongs to us, the people, living men and women. This is ours. It belongs to us.
Well, there you go. He watches the weather. He's a farmer. That's his account of what he thinks is going on. There's been a lot of talk of your land being burned so that they can push you into these 15-minute cities. I don't know. I mean, they also talk about putting people in modular housing for people who have lost everything. So they're like, it's like they create the problem. So whether the problem was a virus, then they're going to give you the antidote. And the antidote is not what's needed. It's not what people want. The antidote is more harmful than the problem that they created in the first place. Now, they are causing harm if they are doing this, and it looks like, I'm not accusing anybody. Well, I'm not, allegedly, if they are doing this, they are causing the problem, and they're trying to give you some nonsense solution. Nobody wants to lose their home to go live in a modular house, right? That's not the solution we want, So it's really, this is appalling and shocking and criminal. If we ever one day in our lifetimes find out that this is true, that these fires, these are not accidents. This is arson. Who's the arsonist? Who's behind this? It's actually bloody terrifying. This video, I also think, is just quite fascinating. This was going around too, of how these fires start all at the same time.
Look up here in the upper right-hand corner. Watch this throughout the day today. A giant outbreak of fires has taken place across a whole Canadian province all at once. Look up to the northeast, up here in Quebec. All of Quebec just caught on fire all at once on a clear day. I would say this would be some kind of terrorism of some kind or an attack. Here it is. Here we are. I'm going to let the images load. You can see this morning. It's clear. Just partly cloudy skies. Nothing really crazy going on there. And then, well, here's last night. Here's today. All of Southeast Quebec just caught on fire, guys. All of it. Insane. Insane.
Okay, and if you're like a skeptic, or maybe you think that's phony video, I mean, I've never heard of that YouTuber before, but he seems bloody authentic to me. And if anybody is skeptical about that, like the news, they can go and report on that. They can go find people to investigate whether that footage is true, and they would probably also have access to satellite footage. Hey, your weather guy there. Hey, global news weather guy. Weather guys, whoever is still left there, go and pull up some of this satellite footage and see if you can find it and source it and show us if it's accurate or not, you know, and also show us the other provinces. How are the other provinces? How are they all setting on fire all at the same time too? Let's see the satellite footage. If that footage shows that they all start like that, like how he just showed us, we got a big problem. Another thing that they always say, that they're starting to say now, is climate change. Like this is all due to climate change. Okay, I would like to squash this whole climate change narrative and push it down the toilet where it belongs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Panelists, let me just go right down the line real fast. What % of our atmosphere is CO2? Take your best guess. You don't have to be accurate. All down the line.
Repeat that question.
What % of our atmosphere is CO2, carbon dioxide? Wild guess. It's okay.
I'll bite 5%.
5?
I'll just follow you then.
We'll go 7. That's my favorite number.
I'll see their 5 and suggest that we know that transportation causes 49% of CO2, so that's why we're all working on energy transition.
All right. So what number do you think it is?
5.
5? How about you? I didn't hear you, Mr. Dreyer.
7.
7. Did you have one, Mr. Boyd?
So we got a 5, 7,
This Price is Right.
8. I'm gonna
Okay.
get the high end.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I don't mean to put you on ice. I ask a lot of people that because all we hear is climate change, CO2, CO2. I heard a couple of you on the panel saying you're looking to change your vehicles to electric, even though we don't have the electric grid. And me as a farmer, I wouldn't be real happy about running out and replacing $300,000, $500,000, $1 million pieces of equipment because someone wants it to be electric. The answer is 0.04%. Not 1%, not a half of a percent. It's 0.04%, and it's gone up from 0.03 over the last couple decades. This is what we're being all contorted into doing, is this tiny change in CO2. If we get below 0.02, plant life starts dying off. So let me ask Mr. Boyd, what are a lot of your vehicles Tier 4 already, or the vehicles that you know about in the industry?
Yes.
All right, so that's the cleanest burning diesel equipment you can get, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. How about Mr. Dreyer? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. So why would anybody be anxious to go out and change out all those vehicles that you've been upgrading? In my home state of California, CARB has eliminated lots of equipment. Trucks, you know, we're down at least 70,000 truckers, and all because they don't make a mandate for a 2011 and newer vehicle. And so it's going to be harder to get things from the ports, all this, all that. So anyway, I just wanted to underline that as we all get all giddy about trying to make everything electric, especially in my home state when they're shutting down the power grid and taking out hydroelectric dams, and they barely kept in place the nuclear power plant for an additional 5 years, which is 9% of our grid. I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know how you guys are going to do construction out in remote areas where there isn't power lines yet nearby or what have you in order to charge this stuff. Maybe you'll bring generators. So
Gas is not bad. CO2 is not bad. You need CO2 in the air because plants aren't going to grow if you try to get rid of it all. And, they're always making you feel guilty for your carbon usage, right? They go ahead and terrorize people. They don't seem to feel guilty about that. Oh, you need an organ transplant and you're not jabbed. Never mind, you're not going to get one, right? They have no guilt. Oh, like you're going to lose your job if you don't take this second one or whatever. Oh, too bad. Though you nearly died from the first one. Sorry, they have no guilt, but they're trying to carbon guilt the crap out of you. Please. I just want to show you one more thing. This is a video that I saw somewhere online from Alberta. And when you listen to this man and you listen to the way he's speaking, I don't know, when my heart and my head, when I listen to people like in this clip that I'm about to show you, I believe them.
I've lived out there for over 30 years. I know a lot of people in this room. I knew about that fire before lunch on Friday, thanks to our Facebook group. Not one of you at all gave us a warning till 4 o'clock. So to hell with your damn political speeches up here. All these people in this room rely on you people to get us information. I have a friend that lives in Riverview Pines. He didn't even know about it till I phoned him at work and said, get your ass home, there's a fire. Then I got a horse trailer coming to my house and they get blocked, told they can't come in, until my buddy's wife says, I'm gonna run your ass over if you don't move. So explain to me, Mr. Lemieux, how your system with all the livestock works when there's cattle liners lined up for my neighbor's 300 head of cattle on Highway 40 and they can't even get in. Your response was garbage on Friday. The neighborhood was more organized than any one of you, including bylaw. So let us do our jobs. A local resident who we all know who it is, I won't name him, got kicked out today. He had his own D6 in there before you guys did. And he was pushing dirt before you. And he got kicked out today. He had a second dozer show up yesterday and he got turned around. I was told there was 8 more en route, got turned around. Pipestone Energy offered their pumping equipment to pump water, denied. You guys have resources coming out the ass from everybody that's experts in their fields here, and you said no. That resident with that dozer is so mad he's not here right now. I spoke to him personally this afternoon. He was scared he's going to get arrested if he showed up. He has done more for our community than anyone on that stage. So spare me the political crap and tell us what's really going on. When we got guys offering up their $1 million pieces of equipment to come in and get the job done. Anyone? Mr. Lemieux?
Yes.
Oh my God. I don't even know what to say after watching something like that. It's so obvious that the community always rallies together. The people are on it and trying to help each other. While the people, like people who govern us, the people who take our tax money because they're supposed to look after us and have all this infrastructure in place, flood relief, fire relief, when they're sitting there on stage looking like a bunch of wet socks or whatever, and people are pleading in the audience looking for answers. The man in that clip said, tell me what's really going on. And Canadians are just fed up with being damaged and trampled and made to feel helpless and made to feel like garbage by the people who are supposed to look after us. But not only that, they're coming for us. So you could just hear in that clip there, that guy had bulldozers, he was pushing dirt, the community is rallying together, and they're on the scene before the government is on the scene. It's quite extraordinary. It's extraordinarily sad. I did hear that Danielle Smith is going to launch an investigation into these fires to see if it's arson and who's doing it. I mean, good, launch an investigation. When you figure it out, let us know, okay? Because we want to know what's going on. And a video that went very viral was retired firefighter Peter McIsaac. Oh boy, he put this video out just telling it like it is. It was remarkable. I think it has like 2 million views on TikTok. He also gave an update. I did reach out to him because I wanted to interview him. So hopefully I can catch up with him at some point and bring him on. But he had a whole network ready to go, and the province of Nova Scotia said, no, thank you.
Hi, folks. I'm a retired forest technologist from the Department of Natural Resources, and I have 29 years experience fighting forest fires here in Nova Scotia. As things progressed last week and buildings were burning and people were being evacuated, I realized that Nova Scotia had a resource of retired technical staff that were experts at fighting fire. And so I put together a team. I called some of these guys up and I put together a crack team. And then I immediately notified Natural Resources at Fire Control in Shuby. I contacted a local district supervisor, and they both notified me that the province wouldn't be interested in hiring on any retired staff to do works. So at the same time we were being told that, the Premier was begging for help on every newscast that he could get on. So I started that last Tuesday, and then I fought with the province on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and again on Friday, trying to get our guys put in key positions where they were needed throughout the province. And I got the same answer continually. Thank you, but no thank you. Finally, I got frustrated and went on talk radio on Thursday. And then I got a phone call from Shuby Radio that said, or not Shuby Radio, Shuby Fire Control, that they'd put my name on the list and the name of a few others. It was a polite way to say, look, we know you're making noise. Thank you, but no thank you. We're still not going to hire you guys to come fight fires.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. If you're begging and pleading for help, there's help. There's help right there. And they just, nope, they're just not interested. Not interested. Why? What kind of crap is this? Anyway, this also reminds me, when you see the community rally and the community get together, this reminded me a lot. I was still working at Global at the time. Remember when we had the atmospheric river in November 2021? It used to just be called a heavy rain or like a monsoon type of thing, but now it's an atmospheric river. Created by who? But this here in the province of British Columbia, this rain washed out parts of the Coquihalla, did a lot of damage to floodland, to farmland in the Fraser Valley, flooded out stuff. And I remember, how does it wash out a bridge anyway? How does rain get like that? I can even understand having heavy rain, but I don't think it can wash out concrete, like they're trying to lead us to believe. I did get a tip last year, not a personal tip, but I found something that, I don't know, that somebody had seen. Don't quote me on this, Kay. I'm just saying this like as if I'm talking to a friend. So I'm telling you guys that somebody had seen somebody plant, like parts of the military plant little grenades into the hills. And so that when the rain comes, because they can make it rain, that HARP and all that kind of thing, cloud seeding and what have you, when they make it rain, they can set off these explosions too. And that made more sense to me, that that's what would blow out a bridge, right? Deliberate, like camouflage by the rain, but little grenades or little explosives set off so that it would wash out the bridge. Now, the point of that is, I don't know, they want to harm the wildlife, harm the livestock, raise your food prices yet again, wash out the bridge, wash out means of getting food delivery to you. They repaired the bridge, but it took about 13 months or so. So they did eventually get it done, which is amazing. They even got it that fast, but which is also a waste of money if they had blown out the bridge in the first place. I actually don't know what the hell that was all about, but the consequences of that are dire, right? The knock-on consequences just cause inflation, causes harm to the farmers, causes more of a struggle for everybody, right? Which is what they seem to like to do. So I'm not saying that they did that, but I'm not saying I trust or that I would put it past them to do that. I just don't know. But the other thing that struck me was that the community got together. It wasn't like I saw organized relief come from the government, who we pay taxes for. I saw I saw the community rally together and everybody are trying to help clean up and get the water out and help with the livestock and all that. I never saw any organized, a force from the government come to help, any kind of aid or any kind of help. And I remember saying that in the control room at Global, but nobody listens to me there anyway, or nobody really says anything. And if there were people helping from the government, I didn't see it. I don't recall that part. I just always see the community getting together. So, I think they use weather to attack you. And lots of people watching might be like, oh, yeah, duh. But nobody says it. Nobody really says it out loud, but I'm kind of saying it publicly here right now. This ain't looking good. So we'll keep our eye on what happens in the forest fires. I just hope and pray for everybody, people who are losing their homes. We've already been through so much. Like, how much more can people take anymore? But people are strong. People are so strong and resilient, and they get through so much. Like, never underestimate human capacity and never underestimate human compassion. We're going to be here for one another. All the people that know what's going on, we're here for one another. So I just want to move on and talk about a couple of other things also. In this province, Adrian Dix, I live in British Columbia, and Adrian Dix said something about how he's going to send cancer patients over to Washington to get treatment because we are just so low staff here. And why are we so low staff? Let me see. Is it going to take a genius to figure this out, that we have 10,000 healthcare workers pretty much not back to work because of these stupid mandates still? Everybody says, oh, it's over. It's not over for healthcare. And our taxpayer dollars are paying for people to go have treatment at private clinics over the border, over in Washington state. How ridiculous is that? And that reminded me, a long time ago, I was just showed up somewhere with my friend was there, James, who's a cameraman, and we on the spot, impromptu, just interviewed an X-ray technologist. So I'm going to play that interview for you. It was only 3 minutes long. I didn't really do much with it, but when I heard that news about Adrian Dix sending people over the border for treatment, it just made me think of that lady that I met on the street that I interviewed. So I want to show you that video now. Hey everyone, as you know, more mandates are coming down March 24th, and this affects a lot of people in the future. I really don't know what our government expects people to do in society anymore, but I just met this lady here, Christine. What was your job before?
So I have worked as an X-ray technologist for 28 years. I've been at Chilliwack Hospital now for 23 years. I specialize in mammography. I've worked with many different kinds of women that in all different levels of breast cancer, survival, and it's been an incredible career.
You did that job for that long?
I did that job for that long.
And then what happened? You are now fired.
What happened? Well, I was told that if I was not choosing to be vaccinated, that I would be fired. I was put on leave in October, but because of the severe need of healthcare employees, they actually called me back and said, no, we need you for 2 extra days. And then I was officially terminated on December 1st.
Oh, gosh. And just tell me, what makes you feel hesitant about this vaccine?
When we were first told that we needed to be vaccinated, they told us that we had a 4-month gap to have the initial vaccine and then the second one. And right away, we found out that there was a 28-day period that they were allowing us to squeeze it into. That made me really uncomfortable. Any vaccine has a certain amount of time that it needs before you can have a booster. That was my first red flag. And then as I went through the summer and saw the amount of things that were coming in for ultrasounds, actually, that were showing, because I work closely with ultrasound technologists, and the amount of patients that were coming in with curious side effects or problems that could have been due to their vaccination, I couldn't stand by it anymore. And so I needed to pull back. And since I have been listening to doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough from the United States and Dr. Byron Bartle, there's just no mistake that this is definitely something that is dangerous for humans.
Yeah, and you have the right to feel cautious about that, and that those rights are taken away from people and their livelihoods are taken away. If you could wave a magic wand and make this go away, what would you do? Or what would you like our government to do?
I would like our government to stand up to our prime minister, who is controlling this whole situation. I would like the Senate, if they have the power to break down the Emergency Act, I would like them to have the power to lead the government to a better place with somebody that's accountable, where there's no accountability in our country right now, and it's disgusting.
Christine, thank you. Thanks. There you go. A lady there with over 20 years experience as an X-ray technologist. That's her business, healthcare, technology, X-ray technology. That's her jam. She's not working. She wants to be working, and she's not. And you're trying to tell me there's no tyranny, that there's some sort of logic and common sense that we're following here? I don't think so. This is absolute nonsense. So I did want to address that is just blatant crap, immoral wrongdoing by your Minister of Health. Okay? Adrian Dix, you people at Global News that I used to work with, get your shit in gear, for God's sake. Jesus Christ. You actually are so pathetic with the news. I don't even know why you exist anymore. You're just nothing but a nuisance to society, because all you do is run around disinforming people all the time and backing these government cronies that are really, I would say, shills for criminals. The government is behaving in a criminal way. Am I scared saying this? Yes, I am scared. I've said this before. I don't want to be harmed, but I don't know how anybody, people don't like people with big mouths, but I just don't know how anybody can sit back and let this stuff happen and not speak about it with honesty. It actually drives me up the wall. Anyway, and one other thing I want to say on this Monday Night Mashup before I sign off is I recently heard about the P&E. Okay, my friends, the P&E cash only? Cash only? Let's have a look at this. We accept credit, debit, and recommend that you use your tap-enabled cards or Apple Pay, Google Pay on your mobile device. P&E gift cards can also be purchased for use and are sold at guest services, blah, blah, blah. Cash will be the only means of payment for the casino wheel games. Why do you get a break there? Why should you get a break at the casino wheel games? Why do we always make these allowances for casinos and gambling? So like anything that you're not supposed to be doing that might ruin you or might send you into poverty or make you part with your money or something, that's okay. You can use cash then. But if I was to send my kid to Playland or P&E with some money, he can't buy a bag of donuts with cash? But you could do casino wheels, but you can't buy a bag of donuts? And we're going down this road of this cashless society. Now, some may argue that it's convenient. Everybody uses their debit and their credit anyway. But, cash is legal tender. You don't have the right to not accept cash as a business. And quite frankly, I do not support any businesses that don't accept cash. Do I have cash? No. Lots of times I don't have cash, and I wish I would keep more cash on hand. But I appreciate cash. Cash is important. I would just say use more cash. Use more cash. Keep using it. I would not go down with any of this stuff that's happening at the P&E and Playland. I would just not support it. They actually want you that if you take cash there, you have to go to guest services and swap in your cash for a gift card and then use the gift card all over the place. What is the point of that? And what is convenient about that? That is not convenient for anybody. Cash is legal tender. We want to use cash. We don't want to be tracked everywhere. Cash is not like a trackable thing. So you can spend it as you go. You spend it where you want. It's your cash. It's your money. And for businesses to sit there and not accept it, and for such a big thing where families go, like P&E, I say boycott that right now. make the P&E go under. They already are suffering because of the COVID closures or whatever. And so now everything's back in, things are starting to get back in business now. But if they don't accept cash, we don't accept them. That is completely wrong. And any business that doesn't accept cash, you can take a seat. We've had enough control on top of our heads now. So the people that aren't awake, that don't get this, I'm thinking of a friend of mine that doesn't really understand any of this or doesn't understand the meaning behind it, right? For those of us that do understand the meaning behind it, more and more and more we have to, it's so hard waking these buggers up, isn't it? It's just almost impossible. But I do not support any business that does not accept cash. I recommend other people do the same, because if we all get in on this together, then we can make a change. If we all quietly go along with this and do what we have to do, then we don't get anywhere. Anyway, thank you so much. Listen, if you like what you see, please follow me on any of these platforms. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook, and I have my Rumble channel, AK Straight Speaks, and Anita K on YouTube. I also have a website. It's anitakrishna.com. Let me put that up here, so you can see what I'm up to. I write Substack articles. I do what I can do when I can do it. Like I said before, I do it very randomly and when I have time. I do like this idea of doing a Monday night mashup, just sort of go over the week that was. I always like to hear from you guys. I read the comments. If you have any ideas, please let me know. And if you could subscribe, share, and do all those fabulous things, that's great. If you really like what you see, you might want to consider visiting the donation pages that I have. You can find all that in the description. And finally, you can catch me on Awake Freedom TV also. That's on your Roku TV. So I'll put a link in the description. If you click that link, you can learn how to download the Awake Freedom TV app, and you take it from there. So even if you make a donation there, that helps me also. Eventually, it will. It all comes together. It all works out in the end. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this Monday Night Mashup, and lots more to talk about. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.